Now I know what you're thinking. You probably think that I'm going to talk about the whole Elmer Fudd situation that they had going on with the series and blah blah blah. Not necessary. Uh, it, at its core, the Looney Tunes cartoons show was just bad. It was just that was just a bad rendition of Looney Tunes. Like I don't understand why it was so bad. Cause Wabbit is actually pretty good, and the fact that they backtracked from that and in trying to capture the old Looney Tunes and then failing so hard at doing that made absolutely no sense. So to get into this, um, there was about 10 episodes for the entire Looney Tunes cartoon show. Each episode was about 15 minutes long. This is where it gets super weird. Each episode is about 15 minutes long. In each episode, they have two separate cartoons. Looney Tunes cartoons, on average, the old school Looney Tunes cartoons, ran for about um, 8 to 9 minutes. If like at the 8 to 9 minutes, possibly 10. So they would then cut those in half and play two within the span of 15 minutes, which was very weird. Now, what's even weirder than that is the fact that they would then try to encompass the animation because one of the big things that they wanted to sell and showcase was the animation for this for this show, and that's all well and good. But if the shit ain't funny, then it ain't fucking funny. And the shit wasn't funny. Now I'm a huge Looney Tunes fan, so if you want to say a biasy with me in judging this, by all means go ahead, and I will tell you yes, I will wholeheartedly agree with that statement simply because of the fact that yeah, it biasy. Um, I'm incredibly biased when it comes to the Looney Tunes because I grew up watching them. I love Looney Tunes. I know, one of those type of people who basically, I looked at the Mel Blanc documentary and shit. I love Looney Tunes. Know more about their history than I possibly do family members' full names. So, I is it sad that that's a thing? You care more about Bugs Bunny than you do me. Well, I mean, Bugs Bunny was there for me through the hard times. You weren't. You can't expect to get the same type of love now. Come on, let's be fair. Let's be fair. So I I watched each episode and and more so just each like out of all of the 10 episodes, only two cartoons I actually thought were decent. One of them would be Bugs with the buzzard. Um, always was confused on his name because in the cartoons his mother always called him Killer, and then it was like they would give him a different name depending on how the cartoon started for different ones that had him on there. Very, very confused with his name. Another one is like the very first Bugs Bunny and Yosemite Sam cartoon they did, where it's him beating Yosemite Sam in an arm wrestling match. That's it. Those are the only two. So basically, the gags fall real short in all of the things, in all of the shorts. A lot of the shit is them rehashing or recopying old gags, which, for the most part, if you're going to do something with Looney Tunes, you don't need to do that. Like, they've showcased time and time again that they could redo Looney Tunes stuff with a nicer or better twist with their gags. Tom and Jerry does it all the time with, like, the new shit that comes out. So, I found it weird that, they couldn't do that with Looney Tunes. Um, one of the one of the major faux pas, one of the things that I thought was basically odd, or a lot of people kind of took, like a weird head turn towards, honestly was Bugs Bunny's yellow gloves, but the history behind that is that basically original Bugs Bunny had yellow gloves. Problem is, he only has yellow gloves in about like 2 to 3 different cartoons. Like that's not a major staple. And if anything, that changes after he gets his iconic voice when he starts to actually become Bugs Bunny. At first, he was basically just this rabbit character that appeared because the original popular Looney Tunes character was Porky Pig. Uh, Much like with Disney and Mickey Mouse. Mickey Mouse wasn't the very first iconic character under the Disney cartoon lineup. Is whatever that rabbit's name is. If you played Epic Mickey, then you know what I'm talking about. But it like it was weird that they basically went that route, or they tried to um, encompass that field, because they basically wanted to go with more free flowing animation, less than like Flash stuff. So it didn't seem all blocky, but more so seemed like it was just playing out nicely. So it looked crisp and it looked smooth. Animation, give them 100% for that. It looked amazing, and like the way how they did it in designing characters. But they went about it all wrong by just basically rehashing and copying stuff, and then not even copying the good things in the damn cartoon in Looney Tunes in the first place that made them good, original, or iconic. It just basically went about doing stuff that you would see in just some typical after WB after movie event or some shit like that, where it'd be like, here's a surprise Daffy Duck cartoon that comes out of nowhere that you get extra in this DVD of some Warner Brothers cartoon movie or whatever. So they just like basically you just had an entire season of that shit, and wasn't good. Wasn't good. Didn't like it. Was stupid. So now in the case of the Elmer Fudd stuff, a lot of people are upset over the fact that basically they took away Elmer's gun and they had him using other weapons, which was really weird, because now the excuse they gave, now, and I say excuse because that's what it was, the excuse that they gave was basically that when they were doing the cartoons, it was during the wake of all of the mass shootings. So they didn't want to further push that ideal, The issue is that they even showcase Elmer Fudd in this hunter gear at all. Because the times when they show Elmer Fudd in his hunter gear, it's in these little blocks, like damn, not even worth minutes. Just shorts among the shorts. And again, 15-minute long episode. And then you got a fucking, I'm saying 15-minute, like 10-minute long episode, and then you got like a fucking short in between, like your 5-minute long cartoons. So really dumb to even have that if you were just going to, if you were not even going to showcase it or get away from it. Why the fuck would you even have it? It's just so stupid to me. That makes absolutely no sense. But they fucking did it. So you shit. Trying to find the damn cartoon that I like, but fuck it. But so the fact that they would even have Elmer Fudd in that period during it with those little shorts was just ridiculous. They would have been better off just not showing it at all, and honestly, it would have been fine because it didn't need to. The shorts that they did play within their full-blown episodes, which again, stupid. This is just a stupid concept and idea. It's like basically you were preparing for a commercial break on a streaming service. The fuck is wrong with you? That's so stupid. So, but having that in there totally it's not something that just goes against Elmer Fudd's character because he is a hunter, and it's like they've used multiple weapons to do different stuff, and a lot of the people gave a solid argument where it was like, they would use dynamite and that was okay, but him having a gun is not okay. And then they didn't want to perpetuate the whole idea of people using guns because when they were doing it, basically it was during the time at which that was a big hot button issue um, in America. So that excuse is, I would say, if I was basically, producing the show or whatever, I'd be like, yeah, that's an excuse. The issue comes into play where Elmer Fudd is not kind of character that's been around for years and he's always had a gun. Being problematic now, if it hasn't been problematic ever, isn't something that's gonna that's not a thing. You know, you can't say that. It's like it's never been a thing where someone was like, "Yo, Elmer Fudd got me to want to get a gun." And if that was the case, you know, when like that's never happened. So it's like unless you did it and then someone said something, then I can understand future endeavors of not wanting to. But you're not doing it based off of that. You're doing it based off of the backlash you assume you would get by having Elmer Fudd have a gun. And again, if you felt that strongly about it, why even have the shorts with Elmer Fudd hunting in the first place? And it's like they did like the only actual cartoon they did with Elmer Fudd was him living in a house, and then Bugs kept trying to swim in a swimming pool, and that was it. Like that was it. And it's just Elmer Fudd trying to make sure Bugs doesn't swim in the swimming pool, and none of that had to do with weapons, guns, or anything like that. Elmer Fudd wasn't the hunter. He's his own character now. So you can have him do stuff like that. He's been doing stuff like that. He had stuff where he's a freaking usher in a movie theater, and he just wants Bugs and Daffy to leave, which is an old New Age cartoon that they did a long time ago, which I think is hilarious and had new type of jokes to it. And it's like I wish they would have learned from something like that. And it's like they tried so hard to try and copy the old Looney Tunes that they lost any type of identity that they had to become their own show. Like I said, Wabbit does that perfectly. It is its own Bugs Bunny cartoon, and it's hilarious as hell. Whenever him and Wile E. Coyote are arguing because they're neighbors, because much like this cartoon forgot, there's plenty of cartoons where Bugs Bunny has it out with Wile E. Coyote. One of the things that I thought that this cartoon could have did was mix it up and showcase a lot of the different back and forths that we have with a lot of other characters. They never did anything with Daffy, Bugs, and Elmer, which would have been great because that's some of the most iconic Looney Tunes cartoons is Duck Season, Wabbit Season, Duck Season, Wabbit Season. But, that got swept under the rug because that's not the Looney Tunes they remember. But, so, and then you have things where it's like, Tweety Bird and Sylvester mixing with Wile E. Coyote and Roadrunner, or Tweety, Sylvester, and Spike, the big bulldog. Just interactions with all of them. No, and it just, they had a Tweety, Sylvester, and it was just the same verse, second verse, same as the first type deal. And it was like nothing new, nothing interesting about it, nothing funny. Hell, they even did Wile E. Coyote and Roadrunner cartoon that essentially didn't even have the flair of when Chuck Jones did it. And he would show Wile E. Coyote fall off a cliff, and it's that long whistle before he just splat hit the ground, which is the only, again, bias, but that's the only Wile E. Coyote Roadrunner cartoons that I even like. Like, those are my favorite ones. The ones when, like, they would have him in different suits. I believe that'd be Bob Clampett when he does those. When Wile E. Coyote is just doing different suits or using just so much Acme stuff. Like, yeah, I believe that's Bob Clampett. Like, those I like as well. But it's like they didn't encompass that. They more so just tried to copy the artwork. They did the artwork without any of the feel of the jokes. And honestly, that's insulting to Looney Tunes, especially if you're going around trying to redo Looney Tunes and be at its core and whatnot. Now, like I said, the two cartoons that I actually did like had their own new flair. They actually did jokes that were okay. Yosemite Sam and Bugs in an arm wrestling match, while Yosemite Sam's not going around shooting up the place or using guns, but it was still set in the cowboy time in the Old West and everything. Fine, fantastic. That was cool. Like, I enjoyed that, and it was actually funny and interesting. when it had Bugs and the Buzzard, and it was just like they would just have real good wordplay with Bugs, and it was like that's his thing, his go-to thing is like the dude was made in a rendition of Groucho Marx, so it's like wordplay with Bugs is fantastic. Um, and there's just so many missed opportunities because they tried so hard to try and pair Daffy and Porky Pig together, not understanding the feel of when Daffy and Porky Pig is actually when they are paired together, because a lot of those times they're actually indifferent rather than working together. So when you have them working together, it's got to be towards a same goal to where it's not just you just adding in Daffy being wacky, but more so it being a kind of it's a semi odd couple thing with them. You got the one where Daffy loses their rent money for when they're living in like a hotel, and then he lost the rent money at gambling, and then Porky's basically telling the manager like his roommate's gonna come soon with the rent money, and then Daffy's plan is that we're gonna skip on the rent and try to leave the hotel. So then like their plan is just different attempts in trying to escape, which has one of the best ending payoffs in a cartoon that they've ever done. And then you have ones where it's like where again they're working together, like they're constantly late for work, and if they show up late one more time, then they're gonna get fired. And then basically they spend the whole night being kept up while they're trying to go to bed early so they can wake up to go to work so they won't get fired. And it's just so much stuff keeps happening to both of them while they're trying to go to sleep that eventually when they do get to work they find out that it's like they don't even need to go to work that day. While you also have the ones when they, like I said, they're in opposition of each other, like where you have Daffy being a bellboy and Porky being is it yeah no Daffy is he's in a room, and then Porky gets the room to become his roommate, and then Daffy just constantly keeps waking him up and keeping him up when he wants to go to sleep because he has to leave in the morning. Then you got another one where they just so many missed opportunities on them mixing and matching. Because you got one of the iconic cartoons of Daffy being a bellboy, Elmer Fudd being a manager, and every time a guy gets woken up by Daffy, he goes down and punches Elmer Fudd. The times when Wile E. Coyote is after Bugs Bunny, and I don't understand how you can miss something like that, because those are the best. Those are the best. They even did the one with Wile E. Coyote and the sheepdog, and I thought I was like, well, if you're gonna do one of these, why aren't you doing other ones? And it's like, be fucking creative. And it's like you just got Sylvester and Tweety being with Sylvester and Tweety. Jesus Christ. I mean, Sylvester even went after Speedy Gonzales a couple of times. So did Daffy Duck. Why not have that character in there? I know like that's a racial hot button thing, and it's not even that apparent because apparently it turns out like Mexicans really love Speedy Gonzales, and he's not offensive at all. But if you gotta be something, might as well be offended. I mean, they had Speedy Gonzales on the Looney Tunes show, and no one has said that was a bad thing at all. The man lived with Bugs and Daffy. He owned his own restaurant. But that show got canceled. A lot of things have been canceled. Chowder got canceled. Clarence got canceled. So much canceling. TV has their own cancel culture. Oh, shit. But it was annoying watching the episodes. I found myself just basically not even happy looking at some of the stuff. And I look at old Looney Tunes cartoons religiously. So, I can go to sleep while Looney Tunes is playing, and it's just like funny. But this was just, they didn't even have anything with like Bugs, Muggsy, and Rocky. They could have did something with that. There's so many characters in Looney Tunes, and they just chose not to use all of these characters or utilize these characters in a creative, fun way, but more so just copied what has already been done with them. And then when everyone started to complain to them saying like, yo, all you guys did was copy, then their excuse to that was, well, everything's already been done. And it's like, No, it hasn't. You don't want to. And it's like you had so many chances to do so much stuff. What Rocky and Muggsy, they did a thing with Sylvester because like Tweety was Rocky's bird, and Sylvester was trying to get it from Rocky. It's like the stuff that they've done in one-off cartoons, not in the stuff that's been done over and over and over again, but things that have been done in one-off cartoons that you could utilize, redo, and then basically just have your own twist on the gags and whatnot. That would have been perfect. That would have been fine. Like, why not do that? Why not test the waters out with that? Because then at least when people complain, you will understand greatly why. And it's like, well, it's like if we did it what we always do, and they didn't like that because that never fucking works. You know, and it's like then we could just explain like, well, we just don't know what to do. But it's like if you would have did something different, then it didn't work. That's a totally different ball game. You know, and it's like okay, well now we're getting somewhere. But for the most part, it just wasn't funny. It wasn't good. The animation was nice, but it's like I don't really look at Looney Tunes because I enjoy the anime. I look at Looney Tunes because it's a funny cartoon, you know. And it's like, and if it ain't funny, then it just lost all purpose in being a Looney Tune. So you know, it's like I could give two shits if just the artwork is fantastic. Hell, there's an episode where Daffy basically gets gum stuck on the ground and he's trying to pick it up or something, or he steps in it, and it's just not funny. And it's basically just minutes upon minutes of him trying to get just like dealing with gum, and then it's like what? It's like everything you could think of to do with Looney Tunes. This was it? You a gum thing with Daffy? It's just super disappointing and annoying. And it was like from the guy who did Uncle Grandpa. That's not something to brag about. Why would you tell people that? Uncle Grandpa is so stupid. But it's like the only thing you could possibly get from that is the fact that Uncle Grandpa is just, you know, animation-wise. You know, it's like, well, Uncle Grandpa animation. It's like, yeah, it's up to date. It's current. That's some current animation for you. But other than that, who gives a shit? It's Uncle Grandpa. It wasn't meant to be good. Was it? I don't know. I don't think it was. So, yeah, like it was bad on a lot of fronts. Not because of the whole Elmer thing. Like it was a shit show from the beginning. People harped on that and they tried to make it the main focus of what to be disappointed with. But there was so much wrong with the Looney Tunes cartoons. And I wish they would try to do more. Like it is a hell of a lot. If they just reached deep down into the fucking funny bone, and then just got creative with these characters and tried to, you know, do a little more with them, right? Because it's like that's what Looney Tunes did with these characters after they became established. There was so much more that they did with them. Hell, there's Fat Elmer Fudd's cartoons. What is it? It's 4 of them. 4 cartoons where they tried to redraw Elmer Fudd as a fat guy, and just to see if it worked. People didn't like it, so they went back to him having a big head. But in the beginning, he originated from Egghead, who's just a dude with a big head and a big nose, and then it just toned into Elmer Fudd, and then just somewhere along the line, it was like, well, what if Elmer Fudd was ridiculously fat? And there's like 4 cartoons that came out of it. And they're actually good cartoons, but the respective audience didn't like them that much with his new look. Because, you know, they were used to what they were used to. And so then they just turned him back. But it's like they still tried. And those cartoons are actually still well received and still liked over the years. It's just people preferred Elmer to look a certain way. So it was like, why not do something different with these characters rather than every time you have Tweety Bird, he does not need to be chased after by Sylvester. You can have Tweety Bird deal with some other stuff going on. They've done it before. Damn it. You can have Sylvester deal with other stuff going on. You have Sylvester deal with just regular mice trying to get into the house, or other cats trying to hone in on his territory or stuff that he's doing. Anything. Hell, they forgot the lion. I mean, the puma. Damn. I love the puma. How many lumps, Doc? Maybe 3 or 4. I love the puma. I always thought he was a lion. He's a puma. And like a hilarious laugh. I don't think anyone would be able to do his voice justice. But it just, like I said, huge Looney Tunes fans saw that, was just distraught. Just distraught. And it's like they tried so hard to do stuff that basically was like, yeah, in the older times of Looney Tunes, that probably would have made sense. Daffy Duck's actions. And it's like, yeah, in the beginning of Looney Tunes, he was, it was like, well, the Daffy Duck that they made. And it's like, yeah, that's okay. But if you're going about from the beginning of Looney Tunes, the original Daffy Duck was a psycho. He was insane. His whole thing was that he was insane, but that was the thing with the original Looney Tunes. Damn near every character was Dodo. And if you've seen, like, the first Dodo cartoon with Porky Pig and the Dodo, he's just wild and outlandish, and there was just no rhyme or reason to anything that he did. That was exactly what it was with Daffy Duck, and that's what it was in the original Bugs Bunny. So, but it's like them going back and being like, going back to the back, taking the characters back. And it's like, all right, yeah, but, pick your battles, man. And it's like, you could have did so much more with having Daffy go against Bugs for something. One of my favorite cartoons with them is when Daffy's over Bugs' house, and then Bug goes, like, let's go hiking or something, and then Daffy's like, I just want to watch TV. And then Bugs is like, you come all the way over here just to watch TV. And he's like, it's really hard to do that when someone's still talking to me. And so then Bugs just sits down, and then a TV show comes on that's it's called like Beat Your Buddy, and then there's like a race between two friends that have to get to the studio to get $1 million, and then it was Bugs and Daffy, and then Daffy just takes off, and Bugs just still kind of like, hey, we're on TV, like, hey, they talking about us, and Daffy just gone, and so then the whole cartoon is just them two racing to get to the station because Daffy starts cheating or trying to stop Bugs, and Bugs like, oh, do you realize this means war? So then, like, both of them are like like adamantly trying to stop each other from getting to the station, and it's hilarious. The whole episode was funny, but it's like, what that episode ain't got? It ain't got Elmer Fudd trying to shoot them. It ain't got no one trying to eat them. It ain't got some weird something weird that's basically trying to stop them. What's another one? Them with the Abominable Snowman. That's another good one. I just felt like that was another big missed opportunity. They tried to weigh in more on Daffy and Porky Pig rather than the better duo, which is Daffy and Bugs. Daffy and Bugs play off each other a hell of a lot better than Daffy and Porky Pig. They just do. Like, they just do. You got A and B, and it's A and B is always the best. So, just a huge disappointment. I know a lot of people, especially a lot of art people and whatnot, were just really excited for this show. And then everyone just became really disappointed on it. And then everyone just only talked about one fucking thing. And they really shouldn't have. And it was like, it wasn't just one thing that made this bad. It was the whole process that made this bad. The execution of this was really bad. Shortening the episodes as much as they did like this was really bad. Just going about this in this style and mannerism for especially a streaming website. I get that it took them a long time to animate everything, but just for it to be so short on a streaming website, just bad. Like, it's just all was bad. It was just a horrible execution for a cartoon. Especially a cartoon coming to a streaming platform. Just fucking dumb, man. It's like, you get away with this shit if this came on TV. Because like Cartoon Network, you got commercials, you can time out this shit perfectly. But you didn't. You had to sit there and watch all this back to back, and I was just bored out of my mind for 10 fucking episodes. So, yeah. Alright, with that, I'm gonna end it here. I would definitely rate the Looney Tunes cartoons a four, damn near a 3 out of 10. The art is like if you just want to see some good old Looney Tunes, hey, cool for you. But again, there's only 2 episodes. There's only 2 episodes out of the 10 episode thing. So 2 little things out of the 10 episodes. So that's 2 episodes out of 20 that I actually would tolerate watching, and I actually thought were like kind of funny or interesting enough to watch. So yeah, 3 out of 10 to me is justifiable because everything else was just boring, corny, and wasn't even really that authentic to Looney Tunes. More so, just authentic to anyone that would just try to copy what Looney Tunes was, rather than doing something with Looney Tunes. Just yeah, that's my justification for it. So with that, if I have anything else to talk about, I will definitely let you know. But until then, this has been Daniel the Flame. No, got it backwards. This has been Fun with Flame. My name is Daniel the Flame. And as always, good people, I hope you had fun. Also, be sure to check out the original home of the Fun with Flame podcast over at Anchor.fm. I upload there first and far more frequently than I do YouTube. And you should definitely go there to listen to some of my podcasts that are just too hot for YouTube to handle. So check out Anchor.fm for more Fun with Flame content. Be sure to subscribe and click any of the links in the description to see all of the other things that I am associated with, if you just want a little bit more of that Daniel the Flame in your life.